Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. So we just want to say thank you to all of you who are joining us live here, and to those who are joining us and are recorded on our YouTube Learning channel. Welcome, and we hope that you will watch our other CybHER conversations that we've had and come and join us for a future live session. We are so excited today to feature Angela Dogan, who is a risk management expert, and she is going to tell us all about what that means and what her job looks like and everything else here in just a bit. But to give you a little bit of other information, we have with us on the call too Dr. Ashley Podorotsky, and just joining us now, Dr. Pam Rowland, who are the co-founders of CybHER. I founded it back in 2013, and we are based out of Dakota State University in Madison, South Dakota. We hope you'll check out our school and our CybHER programs. It's www.cybher.org. I also have with me my cohort here is Kanthi Narakonda, who is our outreach director for CybHER. And she is going to be facilitating the Q&A that we have. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask Angela, please submit those via the Q&A that you will find at the bottom of your screen. You can just click on that Q&A and enter that in there, and Kanthi will be sure that it gets asked. So without further ado, Angela, I am going to let you take it away.
All right, so hello everybody. So glad to have you this afternoon and to have the opportunity to tell you a little bit about me and my crazy world. And thank you again to CybHER. Thank you to Katie and Kanthi, for walking me through this journey and inviting me along. So I appreciate it. So let's tell you the boring stuff first, which is my personal stuff. I am a mother of 2 grown daughters, and I have 3 grandsons ranging from age 12 to 7, and a granddaughter who is 3, who is spoiled rotten. And they are my heart. They are a lot of why I do what I do. Now for the fun stuff, the risk management. I got into risk management about 16 years ago. I was thrown into a position as everybody starts to grow up and mature, you will find that the educational path you take may not lead you to the job you have. Because I started out with a degree in electronics engineering technology. I did not want to fool with people. I just would rather work, with a machine. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to go to school for that. Also, it was free. I was considered a double minority so I was a woman, a Black woman, going into a man's field at the time. And I said, hey, that's free. And I get to, do what I love, which is math. And I like the word engineer. Well, 3 degrees later, umpteen years later, I'm not an electronics engineer. And as a matter of fact, I've never been an electronics engineer. Go figure. But I'm in risk management, and when I typically speak to the youth of our world today, they say, what the heck is that? So I generally try to start out with asking them, do you know what that is? And I get everything from preventing people from breaking into buildings to keeping people from stealing computers. I get a gamut of answers, but the reality is it's kind of all of that, but it deals with the fact that we're in a technology world today, and everybody has data that's important to them, and organizations generally deal with people's important data electronically. And so there's a risk to that, especially when they're doing business with other businesses and they have to share that data. Yeah, there's a risk. And so even though there is a would think as adults, they would know how to manage that risk and what they need to put in place to manage the risk, but reality is they don't. And that's where I come in. I teach them not only how to recognize the risk that impacts their organization, but I also teach them how to manage it and try to control it. And so that's really what I do in a nutshell. And then you take that and weave cybersecurity into it, and really, there you go. That's what you have in a nutshell. But honestly, what I really like to do is I like to do just what I'm doing right now. Go figure. The girl who umpteen years ago said she didn't want to deal with people now likes talking to people. And so I do a lot of talking about my career, about technology, about cybersecurity, especially to young ladies, because when they hear what I do, it doesn't sound very interesting. And actually it sounds quite boring. Let's just be real. However, I like to talk to them and teach them how they can take what they love and apply it to what I do. They can apply it to technology, and make it fun. So, that is really what I like to do. That's what I like to do in these instances here. And as a matter of fact, I've got to tell this story. So I went to the Atlanta Girls Schools, and that's in Atlanta, Georgia. I went to the Atlanta Girls Schools to speak about careers in cybersecurity. Now, this school, just to set the stage a little bit, this school is a private school. However, they make it a point to take in so many girls from different zip codes. They want girls from all the zip codes within Atlanta. So you get the inner city kids, you get the well-to-do kids, you get the kids in between. So there's a gamut of girls at that school. And they believe in freedom of expression. They also give the girls the liberty to do the things they need to do to make them focus. And they prepped me about this before I got up to speak, because I might have girls in the room that are crocheting. I might have girls in the room that are doodling. I might have girls in the room that are on their phone looking like they're not paying attention. But it's a way that they cope and are able to focus, and they allow the girls to be able to do that. So they wanted to apologize to me ahead of time, because especially people my age would think that's rude. So the girls come in, I'm in the library, and it's 7th and 8th grade girls. They come in, and there's a young lady who has this bag, and she's actually sewing. Okay, sewing. I'm like, okay. And she never makes eye contact to me. I'm speaking to the girls as they come in, and because I always prided myself in being the hip mom. So I'm speaking, trying to throw high fives up at them, get on their level. This young lady looks at me and she says, "Look, don't even come over here trying to speak to me, because my teacher made me come to your session. I don't care about technology. I don't care about cybersecurity. I just want to make clothes." I said, "Okay." I said, "But here's the but. And I did it just, because I'm trying to get this girl's attention, because she said this to me with much attitude, but she never looks at me. So I said, "Well, what if I can show you how technology can help you make your clothes?" I said, "What is it? You want to be a fashion designer, or you want to make clothes for yourself? What do you want to do?" "I want to be a fashion designer, and I want to open up a store. And I really just don't think there's anything you can say to me that's going to make me think technology, other than a cash register, is going to help me." I said, "Okay." Long story short, we had a conversation about coding, okay, and how fun it could be, all the different programs there are out there, how coding and the security of it all impacts my world, as a person who helps organizations build up risk management programs. And long story short, fast forward to the spring, they call me back to do a science fair, to be a judge at the science fair. And when I walk into the room where all the girls are, because they're going to present, they got 2 minutes to present their projects. This young lady comes running up to me, Miss Angela, Miss Angela, Miss Angela, guess what? Guess what? And I'm like, what? She wrote a program. She coded, she wrote a program that helps her design her fabric. And the fabric that she used was biodegradable. She had crafted how to create biodegradable fabric and use her coding app to help her do that. And she was so excited. So I tell that story because just like me, being that person that didn't want to deal with people, and now that's all I do is deal with people, don't ever shut out a career chance, a career opportunity, a chance to learn about a career, because you never know how it may impact you in the future. So I was so excited about that. And I tell that story every time I talk, because if I don't think I did her justice in reenacting how she had an attitude with me. She was not happy to be in that room. So I'm just so excited. But the last thing I really want to touch on, which if anybody in the room is like me, is money. And the number 2 question I often get asked is my career lucrative? And I will say the short answer to that is yes. It's yes. But you must, as with any job, equip yourself to have something to bring to the table. And whether that's certifications, whether that's a formal college education, you've got to have something to be able to have a seat at the table. Not only so you can sit at the table, but so that you can dictate what they pay you versus accepting what they'll take. And it took me a long time to really grasp that concept. I think, sometimes women, well, most of the time, women have the issue of not recognizing self-worth. And so it prevents us from being able to do a lot of what I'm now talking about, which you can sit at the table and say, yeah, I'm not going to accept no less than this. So I would encourage, the listeners to definitely prep yourself to have a seat at the table, and take whatever it is you're passionate about, whether it is video games, going to the next party, whatever it is. Trust me when I tell you it can be turned into a career, a legal career. So that's important. So you want to make sure that you do all you can to prep yourself and be prepared to have a seat at the table and demand not only your salary, but even the situation, work environment, even those things that you consider plush. So I'm very honored to say that despite the obstacles, because it hasn't been easy, nothing good ever is. It's been rewarding to be able to now, be able to sit at the table and have something to say and have some demands placed on others rather than everybody placing demands on me. So Katie, how are we with time?
You are good. I'm
Okay.
taking notes here too, listening to you. And so, yeah, I know Kanti has several questions that we already had submitted for you, and then we see more in the Q&A. So we can let Kanti take away the Q&A section.
Awesome.
So our teammates, they've already texted us saying that they love you because you are so confident when you speak. And I have to attest to that. So, all right, we have a few questions for you. You mentioned that you went to school for 3 different degrees. So what are those 3 different degrees? And in order to get to those degrees, how long did you have to go to school for? It's no small feat.
No. So I have a degree in electronics engineering technology. I talked about that one. I have a BS in business management, and I have my master's in technology management. And I'm currently going to school for my doctorate in IT. There you go. So I'll put it this way. I graduated with my master's the same year my oldest daughter graduated from high school. So while my kids were in school, I was in school. And this is one thing that I want to point out. I was an undercover nerd. I love school. I love being in a constant state of learning. I say if you love it, go for the gusto. But I want to stress the fact that you do not have to be in school that long to be where I am today. You definitely don't have to go to school that long. And you definitely don't have to get 3 degrees. One will suffice. Certifications will suffice. I heard something, I read a report actually, and I actually was kind of upset about what I'm about to share. And it was that, especially in the technology fields, people are looking more for certifications. Now, I wanted to let you know I had a major attitude when I first read that. Major attitude. And I've got some certs. But I had a major attitude about that because I went to school a long time. And what do you mean you don't care about my education? But after I composed myself, I realized that it doesn't negate the fact that education is important. And I encourage formal education for two reasons. One, nothing beats knowledge, and knowledge is power. But 2, the whole college experience. The whole college experience, because it teaches you, it gives you a certain level of knowledge that you just can't get anywhere. And so I encourage people, young, old, doesn't matter, middle age, experience the college experience because it is an experience. So I hope that answered the question. But yeah, I was in school, finished all those degrees in about 12 years because I started when my daughter was in kindergarten. My oldest daughter was in kindergarten. And like I said, I graduated when the same month she graduated. So there you go.
Double graduation, double the fun.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a few more questions about your work. You work with risk management, risk assessment, right? So how does a typical day at work look for you?
Well, I'm hesitating because there's really 2 views I'd like to give you. I'd like to give you the past 16 years view, and then I'd like to give you the now view. The now view is a little different than the past 16 years because I started my own consulting firm just last November. So that's way different than the past 16 years. A day in the life for me for the past 16 years has been talking to whatever organization I was working for, their vendors, trying to assess them based on our processes and procedures for conducting an assessment. That was the past 16 years. Well, actually, the past 4 have been consulting. Today involves the consulting. For some reason, have no idea why, people consider me an expert in this space. So I do a lot of speaking. I sit on a lot of committees. So a day in my life today is me on the phone talking about regulations, standards, processes, what's going on in the world of risk management, what should we be doing, what's dated. So it's a lot of talking, and a lot of analytical thinking, a lot of critical thinking, and a lot of strategizing. That's really a day in my life today.
Which of those is your favorite thing about work? The talking, the strategizing, the analytical thinking?
You would ask me that. It's all of, like, I enjoy all of it. I am this weird person who really likes to have 5,000 things going on at one time. It just doesn't seem normal to me if it's not that way. And so for me, and because I get bored easily, I really believe, I used to joke about this, that I'm ADD, because my brain is constantly moving and I'm constantly doing something, but it's not always the same thing. And so really, I like it all. But if I had to choose a part of it that I don't like, see, I don't even know if I could choose but that's really how you want it, right? I think the part I don't like, and I know you for sure are going to crack up at this, because doctoral programs, all they are writing. I hate to write. Thank God for the speech apps where you can just talk to it and it turn your speech into text. So yeah, I think that's the part that I would hate, because you do have to do a lot of report writing. And that's the part I hate. I don't like that part.
I can relate to that. I use the speech to text on my phone so much now. Like previously, I never thought that would be a useful feature. When it was first introduced, I was like, who uses this? But now I'm like, oh, I get the point. Someone who was so frustrated with writing all the time had this thought. I so love it.
Me. Think about how rich I would be. Ooh.
So someone wants to know, what exactly is risk management?
Good question. So, see, this is the other thing about not being in person, is because usually what I make people do when they ask me that question is Google it. And then we discuss it, right? But risk management literally is what it says. It manages risk, right? It's the ability to have control over the things that might impact you negatively. And by that, I mean, they could shut your business down. They could cause your data to be compromised or breached, right? They could cause you to have a bad reputation. It's all those things, and trying to manage all those things and putting processes in place to be able to somewhat successfully control them.
Going off what you just said, risk kind of like morphs every day, right? It takes a different form every single day. So how do you stay on top of managing these new risks as they come up?
That's a good question. And it's part of the reason why I made the little sly comment about myself, about people like to say I'm the expert in this space. I said it that way because I don't think I'm the expert for that very reason you just said. It's constantly evolving. There's new risks constantly emerging. And so I personally stay in a state of learning. I am a career student, and I stay in a constant state of learning. You kind of have to be up on your game in this arena. So I'm that person. You will probably rarely find me watching TV, but you will always find me probably in front of the computer. These eyes are getting old, so I'm not on my phone as much looking. The computer screen's larger. So I'm always sitting somewhere with my laptop or my tablet, reading articles, staying up on things. As you know, being in a doctoral program, you're in a constant state of research. And so I'm constantly researching. And then when it comes to putting new things into action to allow me to better do my job, I test the stuff I sit and research. Well, I wonder if that would work. Well, let's try it. Let's see, this. So that's really how I stay up on it, in a constant state of learning.
I love that, constant state of learning. It's a nice way to phrase it.
It's also a nice way to say that I'm actually nosy.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
That's a nice way to put it. And I'll tell you, people ask me, well, what's the number one thing you look for when you're looking to hire on your team? And I say, if they're nosy. And kids, adults, everybody look at me like, this chick is a little cuckoo to even say that. They're expecting me to say some philosophical thing, or, well, they've got to be analytical and they've got to be critical thinkers. No, be nosy.
I bet it just catches them off guard when you say that.
But it's the truth. We're talking about, I run risk assessment teams, right? And in order to assess something, you've got to be willing to look at it and dig and seek information. Most people that are good at that are nosy. So for those high school and middle school kids, I tell them all the time, look at whoever you call the nosiest person in the room, and when they grow up, tell them to call me, because I promise you I will give them a job. I can teach you the traditional skills, right? But I can't teach you how to be nosy. You either know how to be nosy or you don't. So yeah,
it's a natural skill, something you have to be born with, I guess. I love that. In your work, do you ever encounter adults that have like an attitude when you talk about risk management?
Yes, all the time. So it's funny. I said I own a consulting firm. And when you consult, people hire you because of your knowledge, right? And you're consulting them on a particular thing. But you don't know how many times people have hired me to consult them on a particular thing and then argue with me about the particular thing. And finally, I'm just like, well, obviously, you just wanted to give me some money, so you go ahead and do what you want to do. But I think you hired me, for my expertise. But it's amazing. Yes, people definitely have an attitude. And it's usually those that have hired me. So yeah, I'm not sure what that's about. That's a topic for another day. But the short answer is yes.
I think that's more a psychological kind of thing than
Yeah.
technical.
Yep. Absolutely.
So when you started your own business, when you started your own firm, was that really difficult to do, or how was your transition into owning your own business?
It wasn't difficult to do, but mentally I made it difficult to do. Does that make sense? For so long, a lot of people, because like I told you, for the past few years, I have been consulting. I was just doing it for somebody else. And for so long, I would have clients say to me, why don't you just do this for yourself? And every excuse imaginable, I had it. My number one excuse I love to use was, well, my husband owns his own business and I just don't, somebody's got to be stable. Well, Kanti, I will tell you, it took me 2 days. 2 days and $200 to start my own business. I fell out of my chair. What the heck you mean 2 days and $200? Are you serious? 2 days and $200? Yeah. So that's why I say mentally, I was the challenge. Me and my sick, twisted, crazy thoughts and excuses. And I want to stress that because, a lot of people have entrepreneurial spirits and they have dreams and they don't go after their dreams because of fear. And I'm so proud that I can literally say that out loud. I was scared and I thought it was going to take a lot more than it actually took. And it's all about knowing your power too. Remember earlier I talked about that self-worth and really knowing, what you bring to the table. When I think about it, it's kind of insulting. I had to have people tell me that you should do that. Why aren't you doing that? Like, that's just crazy that you're not doing that. You're so good at it. And I had to stop and go, am I? Well, maybe I am. I don't know. But it was that fear of even believing that that made it difficult.
More often than not, we're our own worst enemies when it comes to realizing our dreams, following our passions. Something just always holds us back, and it's just our mind.
Yep.
It's crazy to think about it, but it's the truth, I guess.
It is. It is.
Our final question for you. What is one piece of advice that you would give to our participants that are watching this right now?
The one piece of advice I would give is don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to follow your dreams. Don't be afraid of recognizing your self-worth and walking in it. And don't walk around thinking anybody owes you anything. Don't. Whatever you want in this world, you have the responsibility to go out and get it. Only you. You can make yourself or you can break yourself. It's all up to you.
I love that.
That is exceptional advice. And Angela, it has been such an honor to have you on here today. We are so thankful for you giving of your time and your knowledge to all of these young students and to us too, as not so young students. So we are very grateful. I am going to launch a quick poll for our participants to fill out. So if you can fill that out, it is launched now. I would appreciate it. It always helps us as we're designing our programs and just knowing knowing who's on here and what you're thinking, and if you've had any information about CybHER before. So if you do want to find out more about CybHER and our upcoming programs, you can go to our website at www.cybher.org. Our conversations you can find there on the CybHER Conversations tag, and we already have all of our August and September speakers on there. So get on there and sign up now. We've got a great lineup. I'm always every week impressed by them. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. You can also watch all of our previously recorded conversations, as well as see all of the curriculum and different videos that we've built and designed on our YouTube learning channel at www.youtube.com/CybHER. So we are so thankful again, Angela. We look forward to seeing everybody on a future conversation, and we wish everybody a great week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.